This is video number. I have no idea. It doesn't matter. So, what I'm going to go over today is just a few little things from what I know of what makes a good real estate investor and what drives someone to not only invest in real estate but to build a life of happiness and a life that puts them in a position of freedom. What I hope everybody mostly wants. I find it funny. Some people lie all the time. To me, to themselves. People lie to themselves a lot. You wouldn't understand how fast people lie to themselves. I've had, people say as much as, oh, I'd hate to have freedom to do whatever I want because I love what I do. I love working 6 days a week, 12 hours a day. It's just the best. And then they just break down like a week later and they're crying because they can't handle their life because they work too much and they never see their kids. And I'm like, why did you lie to me a week ago? What's going on? Why would you lie to yourself? Be honest with yourself. If you hate the situation you're in, say, yes, I hate the situation. I mean, it sucks. My boss is a jerk. That dude I work with, he is always trying to get under my skin just because he wants to. But I got to work there because it's the only good job in town. You're a responsible human being. You got to take care of your family and kids. But maybe taking care of your family and kids is building a better life. So, 3 things that you need to be a real estate investor. And you need to become financially free. So, first thing is pain. You need something to drive you to it. Most people will never go to it if they don't have the pain. And if you don't have the pain, then you're probably not going to move forward. Because if you're comfortable enough, if you're just comfortable enough in life, you're probably not going to move forward. If you go to work every day and you work your 8 hours, you come home, you fight for 20 minutes with your wife, and then you storm off into your bedroom and play video games all day, then you're probably not got enough pain to get through with this. You're going to get divorced in 5 years, and your kids are going to fight back and forth between you when they're younger, realize they hate you because you were a piece of crap, and then they're going to grow up to resent you and probably not even come to your funeral. So, boom, that's life. Anyways, so pain, right? So let's go, I'm going to go a little bit through my life and go through some of the things that brought me the pain to move into where I moved into. So I went through a massive depression period, fought with that for about 4 years. Didn't really live anywhere in particular throughout my later high school years, and just kind of bummed from house to house and place to place trying to figure out why I didn't want to continue, right? And what there was to move forward. That was a pain. So depression. Depression brought me into this cold-hearted type of way of thinking. Cut me off from the rest of the world and made me think more analytical. There's nothing wrong with that. There's pros and cons to everything. I got out of depression. I made it through, got it better. 4 years later, I joined the military. The best thing you can do when you're not depressed. I joined the military. Well, I joined to go SF. I wanted to do big, great things. I was always really physically, fit, and I was always, really good at figuring out hands-on stuff. So I joined the military, wanted to be special forces. Went through selection, got all the way through selection, which I don't know if you know what selection is, but there's a 6-month period building up to selection if you join like I did. And then you go, it's 3 weeks of absolute torture and they just put you through the most pain with no sleep, and you have to figure out all sorts of problem solving and all sorts of crap. Got through that, passed, and then got kicked out 2 weeks later because of just stupid financial reasons. Because I wasn't set up financially. So that sucked. And I went to the good old 82nd. So we're just going to put the 82nd here. I thought that it wasn't so bad going to the 82nd. I'd be in the regular army. I worked 16-hour days when I was working normal days. So that's 16-hour days. I went to JRTC 2 months out of the year sometimes. I would stay out in the field at least once every other week. Every month we go out there for 4 days or so. And I wouldn't see my wife and kid. Total, I saw my kid, I'm going to give it a 3.5 years I spent with my kid out of the 6 years I was in the 82nd. So out of 6 years, I got 3.5 with my kid. So 3.5 with the family, 2.5, 3 years without the family, 100%. And then when I was with my family, I was pulling 14 to 16 hour days, 5 days a week. And sometimes they drag us in on the weekends to just smoke the dog crap out of us. And then when we weren't doing that, we were being verbally and physically beat up. And why? Not just for pain, but the fact is, if you're going to go to Vietnam, do you want to go to Vietnam with a bunch of baby wieners that can't handle the hate and the pain and the pressure, or do you want to go with people that already know what it's like to live in absolute misery? No, you want to go with people that already know what it's like to live in absolute misery. Then at least when people start treating them better because they're on deployment, they're happy, even if they're getting shot at. So anyways, boom, there's my pain. Depression, 82nd, never seeing my children, my wife. That's it. That's my pain and pressure. That drove me, and that gave me also the grit and the drive, kind of a lifestyle that says you just work your butt off for the right thing, and you work your butt off for the right cause. So that comes to grit, right? Hard work, selection. Pain. Before the military, for about a few years, I was an EMT, and I watched people, get hurt all the time randomly. You never knew what was going to happen. Get hurt, die, young people, old people. And you grow accustomed to understand that you're only here for a short period of time. It's what you do while you're here. So the pain of seeing other people die, and not understanding that you don't have a whole lot of time to do what you need to do on this earth. So I understood that we had to get up and get moving. Grit, selection, 82nd, deployments. These things can drive people to get divorced, can drive people to just lose their families, but it just drove me to try harder to get into real estate and to get into somewhere where I'd actually get my time back. I tell people all the time I got in real estate to buy my time back. The time that I missed with my family, the time that I missed with my kids, my daughter, I'll never get that time back. But I can buy time back. I can buy time back by putting myself in a good position in life. And I can buy time back by investing my money well, and learning everything I can to ensure that I invest it safely so that I can spend more time with my family. Grit. So, military, selection, 82nd, depression builds grit. It builds that, that stamina inside you. You've gone through a lot of really bad, dark times. So you're okay with the hate that you're putting on yourself. You're okay with the work that you're putting on yourself and the stress and the difficulties, because you know that it can be worse. You could be back here. This was worse than this. This was worse than this. This was worse than all of it almost. And if I'm not doing that, then I'm okay. If I'm not jumping out of airplanes where people are breaking their legs, breaking their backs, and getting their throats slit, all of which happened to people I knew in the 82nd, then I'm okay. It's good. So depression, it's over here. And so, yeah, whatever. We'll just put a D there for, D for depression. Whatever. So, yeah, anyway, you build grit, right? People don't need pain to build grit, but you need grit to do the work that needs to be done to become financially free. And you need grit to dig down deep and budget your money correctly in order to become financially free. And you need grit to spend every day with your children, but also with your family, and, working hard to build it, and also learn the knowledge at the same time in order to do the things that you need to do. I'll come back over here. And then the third thing is knowledge, right? So you got the pain, you got the drive, you know why you're doing what you're doing, you know what you're doing it for. You want to build a good life for your children, you want to be able to spend time with them, you want to teach them to be the people that they need to be when they grow up, and you want to leave them something to run. and you want to leave them a legacy. And not only that, but you want to build security, right? So someone gets cancer, someone gets pain, someone's house burns down. You want to be able to take care of your family, take care of the people you love. You can't do that if you're just broke loser watching video games all day, drinking beer. I like drinking beer, but I like to do it whenever. But I'm not putting it in front of with things that are most important in my life. Anyways, you got the pain that drove you to it. You got the grit to work hard to do it. And the working hard doesn't last forever. The working hard's only in the beginning. Depending on how you do it, the working hard might only be in the beginning. And if you work hard enough and you set up the right systems, boom, you can make the 4-hour work week. Read it. You can set up a system you never worked. Technically, if I didn't actually want to work as hard as I work to continue building, I could sit here, continue building at the same pace I'm building without building any faster, and only work 1 day a week right now on my real estate. That's simple. But I want to grow bigger. I want to grow faster. I want to make something. And I want to prove something. So, grit and knowledge. Knowledge, the third thing. People think they're smart, you know. People think I got to figure it out. I went to high school. I know what I know. I go to church every day. I know what I know about God. And I want to do everything based on the knowledge I have. Well, you know what? We're not as smart as we think we are. You know, I study and I learn every day. I probably read a book a week on investing, strategy, life, business theory. I read constantly on business. I studied the stock market like you wouldn't believe before I got into real estate and worked my butt off to learn that process. But yet I learn things new every day and it blows my mind. I listened to a podcast the other day. Guy comes on, talks about things I had never even heard of. 5 things that I had never heard of that just changed my perspective and absolutely blew me away. And you can't do it without the knowledge. You can't just jump into a house and say, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to flip a house today. You think you can, but go ahead and do it. Find yourself in a bad position. So you need the knowledge. I've definitely read over 45, 50 books in the last year alone on real estate and stuff. And I don't read them. I ain't got time to read those. I got to run a business. I got to work on these houses and I have to go through the purchase process and stuff. I don't have time to read them. No, I put them in my headphones and I run and I listen to them. Easy. All those books I recommended, they're all on YouTube. Look them up, listen to them while you're doing it. And you'll get things from it all the time. The 4-hour work week, systems to make your workload less. VAs to do the work for you for cheaper. The book on investing in real estate with low and no money down. There are tons of real estate techniques in there for you to use in your business. What else we got? Anyway, I could go through the list of books and I could almost tell you everything that I learned from different books that put my work and my life in a much better position than it had ever been before. So you need that knowledge. And if you think you're smart enough to do it without learning any more, then you're not. It's just being a lifetime learner is part of being successful. And it's part of happiness. Like, you got to have something to look forward to. You got to be progressing. You got to be moving forward. If you're stagnant, what does your body have to do? It's not human nature to be stagnant. Human nature to be growing and to be learning. Lifetime learner. It's part of the knowledge. It's what you got to have. Anyways, this is supposed to be kind of a shorter video. Pretty much just explaining that you got to have the pain. What's pushing you to do what you want to do? Or if you don't have the pain to push you, figure it out. Think about what could happen in the future. What could happen to hurt you in the future, to your kids, to your family, to your situation, and make a better life for them. Make a better life for you if you care. The grit. If you're not a hardworking person, figure it out. I don't know. Get into like MMA. Learn how to be that person that just fights and doesn't stop. And then knowledge. Just learn every day. And dig into what you want to know. Real estate books, business books. I don't really like the stock market anymore for any kind of investing. It's just too unknown. But if that's what you want to know, stock market. And it's not about speed either. These things don't happen fast, but they happen faster than you would think if you take them slow. You got to make the steps forward, but it's a step at a time. All right, that's it. Have a good one. Bye-bye.